Hello and welcome to another episode of The Aftermath. My name is Ian, and I am joined by Dylan.
It's me, also.
The other guy.
The other voice that you hear in your head.
The one that does the other, side, the show.
Yes.
So this one for this week is another certified Tarantino classic.
Oh, yes. Send us your kill lists. We will help you.
Quentin. I was trying to say Quentin classic, but then I almost said Quentintino.
It's quintessential.
Yeah, quintessential. We watched the volume 1 of Kill Bill.
Oh, yes.
And I obviously have seen many scenes of this film, but never.
It's gotten around.
Never in its entirety. And I've always known it was like kind of a crazy action movie, but I never quite knew how crazy of an action movie it was.
Oh, buddy. It's through the roof.
Oh, it is on fire.
It rips the roof off.
It really sets the stage right at the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
Right out the gate,
Just stuffs you right in there.
we're just like shattering glass, rolling around in it,
destroying furniture,
getting stabbed in the arm.
fine china destroyed.
Children being traumatized left and right.
Oh yeah,
it's a lot of fun. Before we even know a name or what's going on, it's just
instant fight scene.
Yeah, exactly. I had no idea about this until you had pointed it out. You said that No More Heroes.
Yes.
Which is like a series of games that we have like partaken in some fun with.
Oh yeah. A fairly well-known series worked on by Suda51.
Yes, and you said that this film series was definitely like an inspiration for that game.
Yes.
In certain aspects, and I definitely see it.
Oh yeah.
With that final fight sequence, I was like, 100%. This is
the similarities are uncanny.
This is a No More Heroes boss sequence.
Right.
Like, yeah, it was really interesting. All the build up to that last fight with all the numerous people with samurai swords.
It was so good.
But I'm getting ahead of myself here. Anyways, I wrote down just a couple of brief notes.
Yeah, give me your first impression of this film.
Okay, so right off the gate, I thought the intro song was really interesting. I think it was called "My Baby Shot Me Down." I think is what it was.
It is.
Bang bang, my baby shot me down.
Right.
Or something. It's really interesting, and it's one of those like. I would call it like a country song in certain ways because it kind of has like this like storytelly,
it's
whimsical nature.
It feels like something you'd hear in like an old western.
Right. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought it was a really good song.
I didn't notice this at first, but back when Titanfall 2 was an up and coming release, they used that song in one of the trailers for it.
Really?
Yeah.
How convenient.
It was one of the really cool like. It was the cinematic trailer that they had.
Oh, okay, I see.
It was awesome.
Well, I just right off the bat, I was like, it was a really cool song, and obviously
the music in this movie is a cut above.
Oh man, I didn't add this, but I'm going to add this right after this one. I added it on my list right here. Okay,
right.
So after that, we start the movie off. And I could have swore that it said like act, or it was like chapter 2 is what it said. Like it started off the movie like with chapter 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I could have swore it had like chapter 2 twice, or it was. Anyways, I knew it was probably just like a weird numbering system because we're going like back in time and then forwards a little bit. But
they start us at the second person on her list as opposed to the first, which they then elaborate on.
Exactly. Which is going to lead me very quickly into my next point. But it's very interesting how the movie starts off very dark.
Oh, yeah.
It's all black and white. There is this kind of really weird sequence where you're assuming Bill is like wiping off the girl,
The bride.
the bride, and then this whole conversation happens, and then apparently he's the father of the child, apparently.
Mhm.
And then I thought that he committed suicide because I think he said, "This is like my
This is me at my most masochistic.
right." And then I thought he just shot himself. I was like, "Ah!" And it immediately cuts to like next scene, and I was like, "I'm so confused as to what's happening here."
Right.
Because I thought the movie was Kill Bill, and I thought we're not even 30 seconds in this film. Or
Killed himself.
He killed himself right at the top of the movie.
He figured out what movie he was in.
Right. The end.
Right.
There's a whole 2-movie sequence just to have the ending right at the beginning.
Right.
How funny would that be? But as I was saying, because we're kind of like jumping between timelines here, and the way it's shot, like certain camera angles,
Mm-hmm.
color, like all that kind of stuff, it felt very Pulp Fiction.
Oh yeah.
It just
definitely.
had this. I mean, obviously from the same artist, so it makes sense that it's gonna be similar in taste.
Yeah.
It obviously is its own beast entirely.
Oh, definitely.
The action
I
sequences.
can't think of another movie like it.
Oh no, but it definitely the closest movie that I could attribute it to would be Pulp Fiction.
Oh yeah.
Just and it's kind of like
stylistically,
and it kind of had this weird vibe about it.
Yeah.
Kind of
it
like
has the style of Pulp Fiction as far as like camera work and I guess I mean as far as like the shots go.
Yeah.
But in this movie it's dialed up.
Yeah.
Like a good bit.
But I'm talking about like the vibe of it.
Oh yeah.
Like it just like there were certain scenes in Pulp Fiction that I was like, I'm just uncomfortable.
Right.
And it's not like anything is supposed to be uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
We're like in an average scene in a movie. We're like conversating about stuff or stuff's going on.
Something
but
just feels off.
Something just feels off. And that's how like this movie kind of feels like at certain points in the film. It's like has this sort of like just feels weird.
Right.
Off-putting.
Yeah.
But again, obviously it adds to the whimsical nature of this very strange action flick. So
yeah.
The next thing I was going to do that I just added on the list in this section was the memes.
Oh God.
I didn't know. So for the longest time, the
right, Ironside,
yeah, I didn't know that came from this for the longest time. I think I heard that in there at one point in time, but I didn't know that like obviously like the big meme kind of it was like facilitated with that.
I don't know if it did originate from the film or not. I'm pretty sure it did, but I feel like there was something else it came from before this.
Probably so.
Maybe.
Art is just mimicking what everyone else
does. Evidently.
But there was also other things that I remember. There was a few other ones, like little notable features that I was like, oh, that's like a meme.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of it now, obviously, when I'm trying to talk about it,
yeah.
Which is hilarious.
Just know that they're there.
Yes, and it's funny.
You too can recognize them if you watch the movie.
Mm-hmm. I was also going to say, as we're like getting through the first act of the movie into the kind of second part, the sound effects.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of Foley work.
Lots of whooshes.
Lots of twangs.
Couple
lots
of
of
Wilhelms there.
Yeah, well, yeah, that too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just meaning like the fact that like you can hold a sword and move it around and it won't make that many sounds.
Right.
But there's like a point in time whenever they hold a knife at the very beginning fight sequence.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like flicking their wrist.
Yeah.
And it's like wing, ching,
right.
And it's like it's not
hitting anything metal.
It's also not aggressive. So it's
slicing through the air.
So it feels kind of cartoony, kind of, because you're like it's like the sound you would attribute with like sword movements in like a video game or cartoon.
Right.
But to have like this knife be like kind of flung around a little bit, and even like swords and sheaths, they're like making certain noises that they don't obviously make. I know they do that, but it's just funny to see in this movie. Like you said, it's like cranked up to 10 is what it feels like.
Yeah.
The glass shattering, the like little things here and there.
It's all over the place.
Right.
but like in a good way.
Right. The first like holy shit moment was whenever she was like quote unquote making the cereal for her daughter, the other girl.
Kabooms.
Yeah, exactly. Kabooms. And I was like, oh
favorite.
my God. Has a gun hidden in the cereal box.
Right.
Turns around, like, again, obviously they're like kind of like jabbing at each other, like metaphorically. And they had said, they had like were kind of like doing some banter back and forth between each other about like their choice in weaponry or whatever. And like she turns around like, aha, and like says something quippy and then tries to shoot her and misses. And then of course the bride character.
Right. She's drinking a cup of coffee while this is happening. She drops the cup, kicks it towards her.
Yes.
Hits the cabinet behind her. And then
throws her knife.
Yeah. As soon as she gets back up, she throws her knife like smack dab in the middle of her chest.
Yeah. Lo and behold, the gunshot then startles the daughter, which has then come downstairs and sees her mother and impaled in the chest. And it's
a
like,
seed of revenge is planted.
Oh, man, here we go. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
And then let's see, where am I at on this? Oh, gosh, the dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
The dialogue is so like weird action movie.
Yeah.
It just has this sort of like heavy, I wouldn't say one-liner, but this kind of like heavy feeling about it. It's just like, I don't know. It's so
weighted words.
Right. But it's just delivered in such a way that makes you feel like you have to do something about it or whatever. It's like, it has that kind of like, it's like
a real, real serious cadence about it.
Right. And then as the movie progresses, we realize that like she has been in a coma for 4 years. There's like this band of assassins.
Mm-hmm.
I almost said Merry Band of Misfits. You know, I'm kidding. And at this point in the movie, like we're the number one on the list. We're like building up to she's tried to kill that one.
Mm-hmm. Went through her whole backstory and everything.
Oh, of course. And again, there are so many characters, so many like side auxiliary characters, and each one get their time to shine.
Oh yeah.
They like whenever a new character is introduced in some capacity, like one of her goons or whatever, like gets like a real full backstory as to why they are the way they are. And it's like, it's kind of interesting, but also like a little excessive in some regard. It's like, why do I need a whole, like 10-minute backstory on this like schoolgirl who has murder issues?
'Cause she's a mini boss.
You know what?
She's a mini boss.
When you put it that way, it makes sense. When you put it like that, it all makes sense now.
Oh yeah.
I also wrote at this point, I didn't get the like, there's a really weird line in the film and I don't get it. I don't know if it's a nod to something or not.
Yes.
But it's the one where, or I don't know if we're talking about the same thing now, but it's whenever she's like, silly rabbit. And then the bride down there says tricks are for, and then the girl upstairs cuts her off and says kids. And it's like, I'm like, wait, what?
They are.
But like,
Rabbit can't get his hands on that shit.
It feels like, have you ever seen the new Marvel movies? And how they're like these superpower heroes. Right. Everything's wonderful.
But they're cracking jokes.
No, not even. No. Is that they roll up in a brand new Mercedes Benz?
Oh, right.
Or a brand new Volkswagen, and you get that glamour shot, and you're like, oh shit, look at the doors open on that brand new 2022 Volkswagen. You're like, damn, look at that. It almost felt like that, where it's like, I gotta get my cereal. That's what it felt like. I only do one kind of cereal after my murder sequences.
Right.
And it's tricks.
Nothing gets me ready for a killing spree in the morning like tricks.
Was there something else you were talking about as far as like a one-liner? Or was that the one you were talking about?
That was the one I was thinking.
I see. Man. And at that same fight sequence, the last thing I wrote on this little list of like things I was just typing up when I felt it was there's the sequence whenever she like fights off the first like wave of goons.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like, it's coming up to like the quintessential fight sequence that we all know.
Oh, yeah.
Oren is our name?
Yes.
Oren like,
Ishii
puts her like shoto knife in the like the handrail or whatever, and like just this fleet of motorcycles wells up from around, and she's like, "Is that what I think it is?" or whatever. And then I think that's when like the tricks line comes out.
Right.
But I'm telling you, dude, it was almost akin to, if you guys listened to it a few weeks back, we had our buddy Dakota on and we watched Zilla. There's a very hilarious sequence in that movie where there was an obscene amount of helicopters in the very narrow streets of New York.
Now think of all those helicopters,
yes,
and replace them with suited men with swords.
Yes, imagine them with masquerade masks, suits, and samurai, or like in katanas,
right.
And they're running around all shouting.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like there was a point whenever like the camera cuts, and then it cuts to more people flowing in, and then it cuts to more people flowing in, and then like you're like, I'm one more camera cut away from going, this is an obscene amount of people running into a room.
Oh yeah.
And then of course the whole like the very, very popular fight sequence breaks out. But like I can see why this film is beloved by many for a number of reasons. It's just kind of quirky enough and like unrealistic action movie.
Oh yeah.
But it's fun, but it also has its like seriousness to it. It has a pretty interesting story.
Oh yeah. And
like one that you can kind of get behind. Even though like I could see that they're setting up for a second movie.
Oh yeah.
Because there's like a lot of stuff like I could tell that we're getting the better part of like 2 hours into this film. And we haven't had like some answered questions. Not like we need to, but there's some things like I would like to know that would be really nice to like flush out this main actress character kind of person. But do you remember
know her name yet?
Exactly. Do you know when like the first time you watched this, or like the first few sequences or instances you had of this film?
Believe it or not, this was during the wee hours of the night.
Yeah.
When I couldn't sleep. I was surfing through channels.
Exactly.
And on one of the movie channels, Kill Bill was on.
Right.
Now, one of my sisters had mentioned this movie to me before. I think it was Chelsea that gave it a name drop, but I was like, okay, yeah, sure. I'll give it a watch. And dude, it was the best decision I've ever made.
How nice.
It was so cool.
I was going to say, I think the first few times that I have seen bits and pieces of this film and the second one are because I was like flipping through channels and like a late night like Spike TV run of this film or like something like that. And how would you describe this word? We haven't done this in a while because Ethan hasn't been around. Yeah. Would you describe this word in this movie in 3 words? I always do that. I must say, I will always say, describe this word in 3 movies.
Oh, man.
I don't mean to do that. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Let's see.
So much blood.
Cantankerous katana killer.
There you go. I love it. That is one thing I think is so No More Heroes.
Yeah.
And I never understood why it was the way it was. It was because if you play that game, you like attack enemies, and as you like cut them with like your laser katana,
right? As you just lower their health bar, a prompt will appear with a direction in which to slice them in twain with.
Yes, exactly.
And man, it is one of the most satisfying parts about that game.
They'll just you do like some normal attacks and stuff, they'll just like squirt blood like they're a fountain, and you're like, it's so unrealistic but kind of funny too at the same time, kind of comedic. But like he's saying, you could cut them in twain and just like they like explode, and you're just like,
into fountains.
I don't understand. And then of course you watch this film and you're like, oh, I get the inspiration now. Right. I'm not sure if that's the sole inspiration of it, but this film definitely does it.
Bit, yeah.
They're just like literally like cutting across their chest or necking off arms, and then like they're just like there's like blood everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, oh my God. It's crazy,
Mm-hmm.
but very interesting as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A carnival of carnage.
Carnival of blood. Who's your favorite character in the film so far?
Oh, shit. That's a tough one.
I must say my favorite scene was what was his name? I know it. Hold on, please. Damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Hattori Hanzo.
Yes.
The whole sequence, I loved that.
The retired swordsmith.
Yes. Turned bar owner, I guess.
Right.
I love
Accomplice of vengeance.
Yeah. I love how he has his little shop and he's kind of cracking jokes. It just felt fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt very natural how that scene kind of played out.
Right.
How like someone trying to ask for some like under the table like kind of stuff.
Right.
That
as soon as he gets that name drop, he's like,
oh
what
shit,
the fuck are you doing here?
how do you know my name?
Right.
No one spoke that name in 10, 20 years
Right.
or whatever. Yeah. It was a really cool it was a really cool turn of events,
Mhm.
that whole thing. And like he got to like make a sword. It's perfectly crafted for
Oh,
death.
yes.
So cool.
If you should come across God in your journey, God will be cut.
It's like, damn, son.
Like, that is some badass shit.
And I want to say he even like follows up after saying that line. He's like, I do not say this with a big ego, but this is
Right.
the best sword I've ever made.
My
And it's like,
finest work yet.
yeah, right. He says that. I'm
Mhm.
like, man, that is legit. Dude.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah. You know it's good whenever like even the master of swordsmith's like, damn, I outdid myself.
This is some great ass shit
Yeah,
I've
right,
just
right.
made.
I've made some good shit in my day, but damn, that's a good sword.
Everything upstairs looks like a fucking
Yeah,
butter
right.
knife compared to
Yeah,
this.
Right, right. That's so good. I also love the fact that he's like, there's like this kind of, whenever she's like asking about the sword,
Mhm.
she's like saying that, he's like, oh, none of these are for sale. And she's like, I didn't ask for you to sell one to me. I asked you to give one to me. And it's kind of your obligation because like one of your trainees is like kind of the rat I got to kill.
Right.
And like, as he like comes to realization, like through this like sly dialogue,
Mhm.
he understands what she means and is like, oh damn. And he has this like moment of like recollection and he's like, well, and as he's like walking away, because again he was like, I'm not gonna I promised, vowed to myself, I vowed to the
28 years
gods, vowed to the gods I'd never make another human killing weapon again.
Mhm.
And then as she like talked about all that, he like proceeds to walk away and he's like, you'll
Shit.
sleep here. It's gonna take a month. May as well
Yeah.
practice while you're at it. And it's like,
Right.
oh shit, dude.
Like, damn.
Yeah. So it's crazy, but
Mhm.
I thought that whole sequence was really cool.
Oh, yeah.
I liked that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. It's such a fucking roller coaster.
Yeah. Oh, it is. Oh, and then I didn't even get a chance to mention this.
Mhm.
There's like a point halfway through the movie whenever they're like really establishing who Orin is as a character.
Yes.
And they just hard cut
Oh, yeah.
right to like a full anime sequence.
Mhm.
Her whole backstory is an anime
Yeah.
in the middle of this film. And it's like also like well done.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like,
Production IG.
and I was like,
Handled
this is
some of that shit.
this is actually like impressive.
Mhm.
And it was also a very interesting backstory as well.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it really does a good job. There's a lot of, it really does flush out a lot of the characters. And it hammers home that No More Heroes vibe as well in that regard.
Oh, yeah.
Of like really giving certain characters like a backstory for like no reason. But it
Right.
really flushes out the character and their motivation in some weird minor
Yeah.
way. And you're like,
Mhm.
I mean, I understand you better, but does that mean that I like you? Or
Right. I'm
you
still
know,
going to kill you.
yeah, right.
So,
Exactly. You're just an obstacle in my path. But
bad luck, I
at
guess.
least you're cool, I guess.
Right.
At least someone took some time to make you sound cool. Right.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I got some fun facts pulled up if you want to listen to some of these.
Do you really?
They really sliced a baseball in half.
For real?
Yes.
Dude.
It says during the scene where the bride gets the sword from Hattori Hanzo, he throws a baseball at her, and then which she proceeds to cut in two with the sword. They didn't fake it, though it was not actually Uma Thurman that did it, but it was her stunt double, Zoe Bell, who actually did it. But they actually,
that's still really fucking cool.
They cut a baseball in half.
God damn.
With a samurai sword. Orin Ishii. Ishii? Ishii?
I don't know why they add on that extra E at the end.
Yeah, I don't know. Wait, what? I'm confused. Before Orin Ishii fights the bride, she mocks her in Japanese by saying, "Hope you saved your energy. If you haven't, you might not last 5 minutes." 4 minutes and 59 seconds after Orin steps forward to start the fight, she gets part of her head cut off. Turns out the bride didn't need to last that long at all.
Didn't even need 5 minutes.
Wow, that is so interesting.
That's awesome.
The fight sequence only takes 4 minutes and 59 seconds.
Wow.
How impressive. That is so specific.
The coolest.
That is so specific and very interesting. And I love that.
God.
It says the bride's name is hidden in plain sight. If you look fast or you pause the movie, you don't need to wait until the movie's second installment to learn the bride's name.
Really?
Yeah. Uma Thurman's character goes by
Wait.
a series of code names throughout the first installment, and her real name is bleeped to keep us from knowing it.
Right.
But it is printed clearly on her plane ticket to Tokyo.
Oh my God.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That's so interesting. I mean, okay, yeah, cool.
Wow.
The bride's yellow jumpsuit is an homage to Bruce Lee. The bride wears a killer outfit, which mimics the iconic ensemble of Bruce Lee wore in Game of Death. Tarantino also copied a short headlock sequence from Game of Death during the bride's fight sequence with Vernita Green.
Oh, yeah. Man.
Oh, yeah. It said Quentin Tarantino put this movie on hold when Uma Thurman got pregnant.
Oh.
Yeah. Thurman conceived of the bride together while shooting Pulp Fiction. Wait. Tarantino and Thurman conceived of the bride together while shooting Pulp Fiction. So there are only ever one actress to play the role. Then Thurman got pregnant, so the long gestating idea got put on hold again. She got pregnant and was like, okay, do I wait or do I not? Wow.
Oh, man.
Yeah, wow. But I can honestly tell you that I didn't have a choice. Tarantino told BBC, yes, this is my samurai movie. Yes, this is my badass chicks movie. Yes, this is my spaghetti western and my comic book movie.
My God.
It's also my Josef von Steinberg movie. And if Josef von Sternberg, sorry.
It might be Joseph,
I'm sorry. Is getting ready to make Morocco. Yeah. Okay, it's interesting. It goes on for a bit longer. Anyways, using black and white for the Crazy 88 fight was a practical homage. The film shifts from color to black and white when the brides battle with the Yakuza in the House of the Blue Leaves, which is a nod towards the Kung Fu films shown on TV in the 1970s, but it wasn't just an artistic choice. Those movies were broadcast in black and white to get around the censors. The censorers.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Tarantino did too, to
Nice.
avoid an NC-17 rating and to avoid cutting out the over-the-top violence scene. He shot in black and white.
Good.
That's so nice.
That's amazing.
I love tip number 7. There's no blood in the trailer.
Damn.
As a bastion of general audience. Yeah. Wow. Advertisement may look like the bride was stabbing a barrel of motor oil with a samurai sword. And got so on her jumpsuit. I'm pretty sure people were most excited about the fictional bloodshed. Yeah. How fun.
Yeah. It's a good fucking movie.
Oh, what the heck is this? They use condoms for the blood effects.
What? How?
Just like Chinese action flicks in the 1970s, Tarantino and company used fake blood-filled condoms.
Oh my god!
To create the bursts of blood that you see on the screen.
Holy fuck!
Wow.
Oh man.
He was also particular about the blood recipe. You can't pour this raspberry pancake syrup on a sword and have it look good, he said. Oh man, that's so good.
That's good.
I love this stuff. That's so fun. Orin was originally meant to be beheaded.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Fatally wounds Orin during the fight, slicing off the top of her head. But she was originally supposed to have her head cut off completely. But the problem with that was, with her head gone, Orin wouldn't have recognized that the bride wasn't lying about having a genuine
Hattori
Hanzo sword.
Mm-hmm. Damn straight. About to prove you wrong, bitch.
Orin is the only one who actually dies by the sword. It says that the movie places a great deal of importance on the bride getting the Hattori Hanzo sword to use it in her revenge, but Orin is the only one who sees the wrong end of the blade in the second installment of the movie. Oh, I see. Okay.
Oh.
Well, I won't get into all that anyways.
Right.
That's a little teaser, I guess, in the next film, which that's interesting.
Nice preamble.
The bride wasn't supposed to spare any of the crazy 88, but she did in the actual movie.
Yeah.
Oh, no way. Buck's car is uncensored on TV.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Buck, the hospital orderly infamous pussy wagon gets changed to party wagon.
Oh my god.
In the dialogue when the movie plays on network television, how much of it you can see on TV, the network either didn't see the need or didn't want to pay to have the car's license plate changed digitally.
Oh wow.
So it just reads PSY WGN. How interesting.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I love this stuff. I love doing this I love doing like the little fun facts after it because there's so many interesting things.
Oh yeah.
Like the whole fight sequence. That was so interesting and specific.
Yeah.
The fight sequence only lasting 4 minutes, 59 seconds.
That was the coolest.
I love that kind of stuff in filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
Mallory and I have been watching Bridgerton recently.
Oh yeah.
And there's one thing about the film, or about the episodes they've been doing very interestingly that I have noticed, and I'm not sure if anybody else has. But the whole show is obviously shot very well.
Yeah.
It's like it's on its second season. The first season did very well. So it's like Netflix already paid a whole bunch of money for the first season. It did outrageously well. So obviously they have even more money.
Right.
So like the costume design and the camera work looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But in like numerous scenes, and you may notice it, but like you may not think anything of it. In so many scenes, like whenever they're inside interiors and just doing certain things,
yeah,
there are mirrors, just like regular mirrors, but they're placed so strategically. Mm-hmm. It's so interesting. Like there was one sequence whenever like you have your Head and Shoulders shot on actress 1, Head and Shoulders shot on actress 2, but there's like a wide shot, and it really conveys this like they're angry with each other. There is this distance between each other.
Mm-hmm.
Actress 1, you see her back talking to actress 2 at a distance.
Yeah.
But just to the if we're talking about to the right of actress 2,
you can see the reflection in the mirror.
There's a mirror, and it's placed just so to where the camera is seeing the face of actress 1.
Right.
And so she's getting mad and talking to her sister or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But you see her in the film, in the mirror, perfectly, like just emoting and having all this stuff, and it's almost as if they're side by side.
Right.
And having this argument, and it was such a cool, like, weird little thing. And there's another one where there's like a over the top sequence, and it's like this kind of moment where like this person slumps down and falls on the ground, like head in their hands kind of moment.
Yeah.
And in the very top right corner of the screen, the mirror is kind of faced down a little bit or whatever, right. Just like it's been kind of it's like a some sort of apparatus or whatever, and it's facing down, and you're like over the headshot, you can see like a perfect side profile of this person with their head in their hands. So this over the head shot and this like perfect side shot, and it's just like you can see it. It's a pretty sizable mirror in the corner, and it's like. I've been dying for it. I've just been looking at it, going like, I love that. Mm-hmm. I know that probably nobody else cares about that, but
there's a mirror man, folks.
I love the little intricacy, like the little details like that. Mm-hmm. And the more I'm watching the show, the more I find that those like little things like that. I'm like, I know there's probably the mass majority of people probably don't notice it and probably don't care, but I know there's probably somebody on set there that was like, I know how things like this have to work. Yeah. And there was probably a guy on set or whoever the director of photography or however was supposed to play out intentionally wanted this here. Like, you don't just accidentally have beautiful shots like that numerous times. I can understand one accident. And so like the more I look at it, I'm like, someone put some work into this and I'm appreciating it. It's a lot of fun and it's just cool to see. And so I went off topic, but
it's okay. I'm sure someone out there is going to appreciate your mirror tirade.
Right. Yes. I just love mirrors so much. But it also plays into stuff like this, too, where like I never would have thought
it's a very detail-oriented film.
I never would have thought to do a stopwatch timer on the fight sequence. But it's so cool that it's there, that it doesn't actually last a whole 5 minutes, and I love that. That's awesome. Oh, what fun. Is there anything else about this movie that I'm forgetting? I know I want to talk much more about this film.
I think my favorite line was after the bride has wiped out all of the Yakuza gang members, she is standing on top of a handrail on the second story, and she says, "Those of you lucky enough to have kept your lives." Oh, wait, no. She says, "Those of you lucky enough to still live, take your lives, but leave the limbs you've lost because they belong to me now."
Yeah, right. I think she also says something about, like, those of you who have kept your lives, like, gather up the ones that you can. Like, so it's like, you gather up anybody that's alive, gather up yourselves, and get out of here. Right. But leave your limbs. Mm-hmm. Which is so specific.
Get the fuck out of my sight.
Get the frick out of here. But leave your arms and legs on mine. Oh, that's so weird.
Yeah.
Oddly specific.
They're going to be making up stories about this bitch.
Oh, yeah. The devil in yellow.
The limb taker.
The limb taker. Oh, man. How crazy. Mm-hmm. Anyways, at some point tonight, we're going to look at a list that we have going on here. We have a pretty extensive list. We're going to sit down for a second, and we have a bunch of games we've been trying to get to.
Yes. It feels like ever since we've we've still played games every now and then, but nothing like...
Oh, yeah.
Just...
Nothing like really sit down and get into.
Right, nothing that's in the backlog already.
Right. We have like a little running list, like I said, that has a bunch of games on it that we thought would be cool to like sit down and play through. But man, I feel like I haven't had the time to like think straight most days. Mm-hmm. I've been loving these moments like this.
Oh yeah,
where I can like deliberately watch a movie, sit down and do the podcast and have this moment of like scheduled relax time.
Right.
Because I've been needing it recently.
Oh, yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, I'm not going to go ahead and spill all of Ethan's tea on the internet. Ethan hasn't been feeling very well. He's also got work and he's also got school.
Oh, yeah.
He's
got a full plate.
He's got a full plate. He's been really dealing with some sickness stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing okay. He's doing okay now. He's going to the doctor and get himself all tweaked out, but he's been a little worse for wears recently,
right.
and so we've all been worried about him, and we've been trying to reach out, but he's either like, I feel like shit, or I'm so busy I can't think straight, and I was like, you know what? I understand.
It's fine.
So just if you have the time, just send good vibes to Ethan.
Yeah. Give our boy a shout out.
Give him thoughts and prayers. Just really reach out to him because he's going through the ringer right now, and so we want to try and get him back on. We can all have a fun time. And he can have a chance to relax as well because I think we all need that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, until then. Anyways.
Oh. Yeah.
And I bet you can't guess what time we're recording this episode.
You'll never do it.
It is a little bit earlier than usual.
Mm-hmm.
We're wrapping up pretty soon.
Not early enough for a cake, I bet.
None
of you will.
Who's going to get the gold ribbon first is what I want to know.
Oh, Jesus. I have no clue. It's going to be a miracle if anyone can accurately guess the time at which we record.
I love it. Okay. Well,
that's enough, folks. See you later. Get the fuck out.
I'm done with this. I'm out. I'm kidding. But anyways, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate you tuning in. If you do, and if you don't, then where are you?
What the fuck are you doing? How are you hearing us right now?
Why aren't you here?
You're a liar.
If you're trying to find us, you can type in The Aftermath on all the major podcasting platforms, or you can type in Linktree/EanWolf and find all of our links there if you need them.
Automated message complete.
Automated message complete. Hello and welcome.
You're supposed to say goodbye.
Hello
and goodbye.
Message corrupt. Anyways, thank you so much for listening, and we really appreciate it.
Again.
And until next time,
see ya.
Bye-bye.